All right. Good morning, everybody. I want to thank you all for joining me for today's webinar on getting to know your clients. So the goal for today's webinar is to add a client or add a contact, view some of the tools or options we have in the contact management page. We'll set that client that we're adding up on a search and a subscription. We're going to invite them we're going to invite them to the portal. And then from there, I'll show you guys what the inbox of this fake client looks like, just so you can have an understanding of the emails that your clients are receiving when you first initialize that like contact creation in Flex. So I'm going to start by going to my contact management page. I do have it in my favorites bar up here at the top, but if you don't, no worries. Just open up the menu and or I should say under the contacts header here, is contact management. So like I mentioned, here it is completely blank. And kind of just like a book, as Flex likes to say, let's just start from like left to right. So top left, just letting us know what page we're on, of course. We have a print option here, so we can print mailing labels for our contacts, or we can just print a list of the contacts we have. In advanced, right, we have contact summary. We can import and export the contacts. We can create portal accounts for all our clients. We can do the same while sending an invite out so that they receive the email and initiate the account creation part of it, not just turning it on. Hopefully that all makes some sense. And then, of course, we have add contact up here. So this is the button I want to press when I'm ready to actually add that information in. So let's click it. We get our add contact pop-up here. So I have to, again, I have to make sure this is so obviously fake in hopes that this video gets to stay up, okay? So for the name of the contact, I am gonna go with fake user. Doesn't get more clear than that, right? And then I'm gonna add their email address in, which is fake user 123 at mailinator.com. That way we're able to check out the inbox later on. There's a couple of other things here that we could add, right? We could we could add a phone number, home phone, office, fax, mobile, others, pagers, as if people still have pagers nowadays. I don't know any. We could put their home and office address in here. I think for a lot of agents that seems a little overdone, or it's a little more than what is really necessary, of course. But there are some agents here who really use Flex like as their contact like CRM, I guess might be the right way to say it. So they want to have the phone numbers, they want to have addresses and backup emails, as it's kind of their Rolodex in Flex. But I think there's also quite a few agents who do this outside of Flex, keep a bigger, broader list of their clients. Regardless of that, feel free to enter in information. Down here at the bottom, we have reverse prospecting. We can, by default, it's checked on. You can turn it off. Just to give a little information, what reverse prospecting is an agent runs reverse prospecting on one of their own listings. The system searches for all of the contacts in Flex with saved searches. And if that property that's having reverse prospecting run on it matches the criteria of your client search, it pairs that agent up with you, not your client, but with you. So they can send you an email and just say, hey, I have this property that your client is most likely interested in. Can you give them more information? Whatever it is that they want to say. So you can choose if you want this client to be part of that system, that tool. And then we have the option to create a portal account for this contact, which we do want to do. And we do have a little note here. It's going to invite them to the portal, so we should be seeing that email as well. A couple other things while we're here, kind of just to like talk out scenarios. A lot of times I do see that like a husband and a wife duo are looking for houses together, right? Which makes sense. So typically what I would recommend if you want to have two contacts or like two emails on the same contact so they receive the same emails is to simply just have them both under the name section here. So I usually don't worry about like this part right here, this additional contact, the name. You could do fake user and Mrs. Fake User, or let's just do Mrs. User so that fits. So you could have, like Tyler and Jessica Ames if you're gonna work with me and my wife, right? And then because we only have one email address right now for them, we can click add email and we can do Mrs. User 123 at mailinator.com just to show that it's fake. And when you are adding in like a second user who's going to be receiving emails, like you want them to get the notifications, you do want to make sure you have notify checked off. That's the way that you're telling Flex that this is an individual email that wants to receive updates, listing updates. If you don't have that notify checked, Flex just thinks you have a backup email on file stored. All right. I think I'm finally happy with that. Those are the basics. So I'm going to click add contact. We see that green notification that a portal notification email has been sent. Good, good. All right. Now what we want to do is we want to get this client set up on a search and subscription, right? So the search is going to be the list of criteria of the homes they're looking for, and then the subscription is the service that sends them emails whenever a new listing meets that criteria. So there's a couple of ways that you can do that. I think a lot of the times people start from the quick search and then enter in their quick search criteria, click save, and then apply the search to their contact. But since we're here at the contact details pop-up, let's start that quick search and subscription through here. So I'm going to go over to the searches and subscriptions tab. I can see it's blank right now. This left side doesn't have any listed saved searches. So then there's no subscriptions over on the right side. So I'm going to click add right here, right below the searches scroll box. I'm going to click add. It's going to give me a list of all the saved searches that are in the account, just in case I've created it already, right? This is like a third way you can think of adding a saved search to a client. But I want to create a new quick search right here in the middle. So now we can start entering in that criteria, the criteria the client is interested in. So for status, I'm going to keep it active, active under contract, coming soon. Those are the default statuses. Let's just say they are looking in the town of Bangor, which I'm not sure where I got Bangor from, but it's on my mind, I guess. We're looking for 250 to 350,000. It's a pretty big range. Need at least a minimum of 2 bedrooms. And we want at least 2 full bathrooms. That's pretty decent. 17 results isn't bad. And this is very basic criteria, right? There's probably more that a client would be interested in. But for today's sake, that's totally fine amount of criteria, in my opinion. So now that we have our search done, we can save this and then add the subscription service to it for our client. So on the top right above the map, there's a white save button with the blue text. I'm going to click that. So now I get the save search pop up here. So it is a new save because I have not, this isn't like an edit of a previous save search we're doing. This is a brand new search. We have to give it a name. I'm just going to call it like fake user Bangor search. I typically recommend putting the name of the client in the name of the search. That way, if it's ever disconnected, it's easy to reconnect the search and the client together because the name is there. Description is optional. And because we started this process from the contact details of Mr. and Mrs. Fake User here, it already has them applied as the existing client. But just know if you're coming in and you're starting your save search and then you're trying to connect it to a contact, you will want to come over to the existing button and then search for their name in the dropdown. All right. And then from here, because we're trying to save a subscription. We want to add the subscription. We want to click the save and add subscription button. You can see the subscription name just puts the word subscription in front of the search name. Send notification of new listings to. I'm not going to go into too much detail about all of these just because this isn't really the video for that. We have a video specifically on searches and subscriptions. But at the very least, you want to make sure you have selected contacts checked to make sure that whoever is in here is going to get these emails. And then you can choose between these three left side options, which makes the most sense to you. Same deal with the schedule. Typically, I see ASAP, so the system goes and sends that email out as soon as it can when a listing meets the criteria. But you have other options too. Feel free to browse. And then we have our email content here, which is the subject and the body of the email that will go out every time a subscription email is sent. It's the same email. It's written right here. So don't be too specific, right? We try to advise against saying like happy holidays or it was nice meeting you yesterday, something along those lines, because even though maybe that's true the first time this email is sent, in 6 months, it's no longer happy holidays, but the emails still say that. So I'm gonna say Bangor Properties for you, something like that. Why not? I'm gonna say hello. Here is I would say here are new listings in Bangor for your review. I would imagine this is not how you guys would actually rate these emails, but here we go. So just to give you an idea, right? We want the subject line to be clear for your client to know what they're getting. And then we want the body to have like a brief description of what's going on and a call to action, of course, right? With every email, you want a call to action. So let me know if any pique your interest. From here now, we can click save at the bottom right, and we get this search and subscriptions saved pop-up here. And essentially this is saying, what would you like to do with the current list of results? So Flex has a really good way of describing the subscription service as like a magazine, right? So if it's December 3rd, let's just say it's today, right? And you sign up for a magazine subscription today, you're not going to be getting November or October's edition of the magazine, right? You're going to be getting editions moving forward from the date you signed up. So think of that as the same. So right at this moment, we signed up for that magazine subscription. We are now only going to be getting future notifications. So we need to figure out what we're doing with last year's edition of the magazine. My recommendation is to email them to your client because maybe one of these current listing results is something they're interested in. But if maybe you've already had sent the email and they already have seen these listings, you wouldn't need to do it again. But let me show you the process of sending these emails. So I'm going to click email these listings now. We get our recipients page here, right? So from our email to our clients. You can choose to have a copy of this email sent to you or just be notified when they actually click the link to view the listings. That's what these options are. And then here you can type in another email subject and message. So this one is specific. It only happens once. This email is only one time happening right now. So this one is where you can be more specific and you can say something like, happy holidays or, ooh, it was chilly last night. Glad we still got to meet up or something like that, right? I don't know. Current Bangor properties is something that the subject line could be, hello, here is what is currently on the market. Cool. And when we're happy with that, we can hit email. So now right here, we're good. We have the search, we have the subscription set up. And when we're all set here, what I would do is go to return to contact management in the top left. And so now we're out of searches and subscriptions. So we can see the searches on the left side now, and we can see the subscription is set up on the right. All right. So we can go to the contact details now. So we can see that everything is looking good, right? We got our fake user email, status is confirmed. Search is there, subscription is there. We invited them to the portal. All right, so now I'm going to pull over the client's inbox so I can show you what the portal invite looks like and the email with the link to the 14 listings look like. So I'm dragging that over, just double checking it looks right. Yep. So this is what our client's inbox would look like, right? Here's that portal invite from when we first created the account, or when we first set up the contact, I should say. This would be your name, right? This is just Agent Marius is the name of the test or training account. So it's, your name has invited you to sign up. Gives a little link. We can click sign up just to show you what that page looks like, right? It auto fills their email. They're just giving us first, last, and setting up a password. And then they can confirm that and get logged in. Super easy and straightforward. The portal is pretty good because there's not a whole lot of, if any, really, personal or private information. So the portal is good about not like forcing a log out and forcing a log in. So once they get logged in once, they pretty much stay logged into their portal until they manually click to log out. And to go back, let's check out our current Bangor properties. Hello, here's what's currently on the market, is what we wrote. And then Flex adds this, follow the link to see the page. So let me click on that. And then here we have the 14 results from Bangor. We have a map over here on the right side that kind of like gives us the pin location of them all. Some of them have like tags, right? Like this one has a floor plan, so it's tagged as a floor plan. Back on market, status change. So there's a lot of good information that a client can get right from this page. I'm going to reset and wrap up. I want to thank you all for joining me for today's video on getting to know your contacts. If you have any questions, you can reach out to us. Either call us at 780-1366 or send us an email at help@mainlistings.com. Thank you again. Have a great rest of your day.